when I was in high school, primary, my hands and my feet used to get so cold, but I didn't know that was not normal. For me, I didn't know that was not normal, but apparently it was not. It wasn't normal for even with socks and mittens and gloves. My hands were still ice cold. My feet were ice cold all the time, whether it is hot outside, cold outside, it didn't matter the temperature of the atmosphere. It was always cold. So that wasn't normal. But according to me, I didn't know that was not normal. I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking, I pass out. I go to sleep, someone has to come and actually wake me up. And so it became something very serious when one time I was coming from town, and then I'm just walking to get to the bus stop, and then I just passed out.
For severe sclerosis, sometimes, as Mercy has just mentioned, sometimes you go in pain, or sometimes you struggle to see, or sometimes you are unable to remain very energetic, you get fatigued easily. Worst case scenario, when it hits you very hard, is it takes away your speech, and you are unable to articulate very well. Another case scenario is when it takes you to a wheelchair, and you are unable to walk completely. When it affects part of the cervical part of the spine, then your hand functions are completely lost, and then you are unable to, do simple things of self-care. For example, you saw Mercy face really well done makeup, and you are unable to do those things.
Yeah.
You're unable even to feed yourself. You're unable to take yourself and shower. Even to the toilet, you need support. That's when at least it can be a little bit, biting. However, on a normal regular day, you still work, you still run your errands. When you have a flare, you increase the uptake of medication, and then, you live with it. It's about living with it, ideally.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Diagnosis. To all of you who've been faithfully tuning in, thank you so much for being part of this journey. And to those joining us for the first time, karibuni sana. This is the space where we listen, we learn, and we shine a light on real stories behind rare and autoimmune diseases. I am Esther Ashira, your host, and our sign language interpreter is Judy Kihumba. Today's episode is one you don't want to miss. We are focusing on multiple sclerosis, often called as MS, a condition many have heard about, but very few truly understand. But before we meet our warrior, let's first hear from our specialist, Dr. Dan, to help us understand what multiple sclerosis really is.
Sclerosis is a medical word that means technically in a layman's way, it's like scarring. And when you scar, we call it a lesion in medical terms. And therefore, many scars within a central nervous system. It could be either the brain or even the spinal cord. And therefore, the more many attacks happen, because sometimes they happen as episodes, it can just come and fly up in one day, and the rest of the time you realize you're under less attack. Every attack that comes, it leaves scarring, or it leaves you with a lesion.
Thank you, Dr. Dan. That really helps set the stage for us. Now, let's meet our warrior for today. And this is none other than Mercy Adoyo. Karibu sana on today's show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mercy Adoyo. Many know me as Crystal. I am a mother of 2 boys, 9 and 6. And I am a chef by profession, a video editor, and also a music producer. And I have multiple sclerosis, MS for short. I have endometriosis, adenomyosis also. Yes.
Wow. Before going into diagnosis, I would like to know, how were you as a child growing up?
Well, as a child growing up, I was sickly so much. I was in and out of the hospital since I can remember. Most of my days in school were either school or the hospital. Yes.
Wow. And then what drew you to music, first of all? You are a music producer and you are...
Let's say music is part of the family. My brother sings, my father sings, my sister sings, like all of us sing, by the way. So I grew up in the world of music, and music has been part of me since I can remember.
Wow.
Yes.
What kind of music do you produce?
Gospel music.
Oh, interesting. Yes. Wow. Wish you can have some time to hear.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, we need to know so that we can support you.
Yes.
Yes. And you are a chef.
Yes.
Any chef in the family now that...
No, I'm the only chef in the family.
Oh, really? You always sing a book for them. Yes, true. That's a good one. So we move to multiple sclerosis. Yes, you were sickly when you were still a child, but there must be something that prompted you to go to hospital for you to get diagnosis.
Yes.
What was it?
It happened 6 years ago. I was pregnant with my second child. And during that pregnancy, it was a very difficult pregnancy, by the way. And I had something called a threatened abortion. I didn't know what that was at that point, but it was like my own body was rejecting the pregnancy. So I started bleeding and spotting all of a sudden. I rushed to the hospital and the doctor was like, you cannot go back home. You're in labor. So how can I be in labor and I am just 3 months pregnant? And so he was insisted that I can't go back home. I have to stay in the hospital for them to stop the labor. So while I was in the hospital, the bleeding didn't stop. So what they did was stop the contractions, give me meds to stop the contractions and the labor as well, until the baby is viable. So that is after 7 months. I gave birth to him at 7 months and through C-section. So after giving birth to him, everything was fine later on until he was 2 months. I realized that I just pass out randomly. I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking, I pass out. I go to sleep, someone has to come and actually wake me up. And so it became something very serious when one time I was coming from town and then I'm just walking to get to the bus stop and then I just passed out. And I guess that was my limit, passing out in the front of strangers and you don't even know how you got to the hospital. So when the doctor saw me, asked for my history, and then found out that actually I'd been having so much headaches that don't go away with painkillers. And then he insisted that I needed to do an MRI, a brain MRI. And that time when I realized actually by the way you hear about things like brain MRI, you hear it on movies, And I was like, what is that? And he's like, a picture of your brain. We need to see how your brain is. He's suspecting there is something wrong with my brain. So he wrote for me a request form to go to go and get a brain MRI. So I got the MRI and sent the report. Came back with the report, took it to the doctor. And when he saw the report, he looked at me and he asked how old I was. So for me, I was surprised. What has my age got to do with the report of the MRI? Then I told him my age, and then he looked at it again, and then he's like, I think there is a problem. So he said, I need to send this to my colleague to check and we'll call you. So he sent me back home, called me the next day. I went back to see him and he was there with his colleague. And then he looked at the MRI, looked at me and told me, you have lesions on your brain. Like, what do you mean by lesions on your brain? Your brain is not normal. So he was like, I need to send you to a specialist. He will explain this further and he will also take care of you and let you know what you need to do to manage what is going on. So he actually left me kind of blank because I was so confused. And I was able to see the specialist later on, a neurologist. And he insisted that we need to do another MRI. Let's repeat this MRI and see what is going on. So I ended up doing another MRI. And unfortunately, it showed the same thing. He tells me you have multiple sclerosis. So what is multiple sclerosis? Tells me you have lesions on your brain and it's affecting your nerves and your central nervous system. So at this point, I am still blank. I don't know what to digest. I don't know what to leave out. So it doesn't have a cure, but we can just manage the symptoms as they come along. Yes.
Wow. So I want to take you a little bit back.
Yeah.
When they asked about your history,
Yes.
and then the diagnosis came, was there a relationship of between you being sickly as a child and now this diagnosis?
Yes.
So that means this is what was making you sick all along.
Yes. I used to realize when I was in high school, primary, my hands and my feet used to get so cold. But I didn't know that was not normal. For me, I didn't know that was not normal, but apparently it was not. It wasn't normal even with socks and mittens and gloves. My hands were still ice cold. My feet were ice cold all the time, whether it is hot outside, cold outside, it didn't matter the temperature of the atmosphere. It was always cold. So that wasn't normal. But according to me, I didn't know that was not normal. Yeah.
In your first pregnancy, how was it?
Challenging as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was challenging. One, I also delivered via C-section because the baby was way bigger. My second child was way small. The first child was way bigger. So they had to deliver him via C-section. And they said it was just a complication. I had so much amniotic fluid. I don't know how to explain that, but it was too much that I couldn't deliver naturally.
Okay, but it was full term?
No.
The firstborn?
Yes.
The firstborn was full term?
8.
8.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see if there was any challenge.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
There was. Actually, when I delivered the baby, he was so jaundiced, he had to stay in the incubator for 2 months. Yes.
Wow. So now, multiple sclerosis. They've told me you are now unwell.
Mm-hmm.
What step did you take now from there?
So after this, I realized that I am getting weaker and weaker. One, I start forgetting things. You have a conversation with me right now. You ask me about the same conversation. A few hours later, I cannot tell you. I started having a lot of weakness in my legs, my eyes. Sometimes I wake up, I'm having this blurry vision. I cannot see properly. And actually, I came to realize that I actually do not cry. Yes.
Why?
I didn't know it is a requirement for someone to actually cry. Crying is good for you.
Aha.
Yes. A doctor actually told me that crying is actually very natural and a natural process that everyone should go through.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you fight it? You fight
No,
emotions?
I don't just cry. I don't have tears. It's weird, I know.
Like when you cry, tears don't come out,
Yes.
or you don't. Is it connected to your condition?
Yes, dry eyes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have these drops, artificial tears that I put on my eyes.
And have they told you the condition?
Optic neuritis. It's connected to multiple sclerosis.
Ah,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm.
So, do you on medication?
Yes.
For what now?
So the medication that we are on, since MS does not have a cure, is just to manage the symptoms for pain. MS comes with so much pain, excruciating chronic pain. Pain that I feel is mostly on my legs, my right leg, my right hand, part of my face, the right side of my face. Actually, my head hurts only on one side. Yes. So pain medication for that. And also we have something called, we use medication called rituximab. It's a chemo drug that I use to manage the symptoms also. It helps slows the progression of the disease. Yeah.
So, how does this do for you emotionally?
It is difficult emotionally, financially, physically, because one, when you're on steroids are also drugs that we use for inflammation. So when you're on steroids, when you're on the chemo drug and pain medication, it is overwhelming. One, it is also very expensive. Very expensive. And also, when you do not have access to this drug, that means you're suffering day in, day out. Okay? Yeah. So if you do not have insurance, that means you're always going to be in pain.
Yeah.
Because like we have like systems like SHA. SHA will cover rituximab, but not all of it. SHA will cover MRI, the imaging that you need to do, but not all of it. So if you do not have a strong supportive system, then you cannot manage. You cannot manage alone. It is impossible. Yes.
Can imagine. I'm just wondering, your family, are you surrounded by people who are supporting you? Or how is it? Because the truth of the matter is, as you've said, if you don't have a supportive family or a supportive, a good support system, then you might not manage. So who is the closest person to you?
My mother.
Okay.
My mother has held my hand so tightly through all this. It's been very difficult for her. My mother has, by the way, arthritis. So she's suffering on her own. But she has been with me throughout. And also my brother and my younger sister. My brother has gone all limbs to make sure that even if it's fundraising and just asking his friends to donate help anytime, any day, he will go out of his way to make sure that I get the help that I need. But trust you me, I have lost so many people that I thought were my friends when I got diagnosed. They left. And it is a sad thing when you're going through chronic illness. You don't always have people around. Because it takes an very strange, very tough kind of grace for people to stick around when they know you're always suffering. Yes. It is human nature for people to always want good news. But with chronic illness, that is not always the case. Yeah. You will ask me, how are you today? I'm not okay. Tomorrow you expect me to answer a different answer, like I am doing better, but I am not. Okay. So it's human nature to expect some good news. But when you're dealing with chronic pain, chronic illness all the time, you're always in pain. So it is not good news. And not many people can handle that. So people don't stick around. Yeah.
So do you understand them?
I do. I actually don't blame them. Yeah. At first, I used to feel so miserable and I hated so much that the fact that people that I thought I could rely on left. But then I understood as time went by, I ended up knowing and understanding that this is not for everybody. And I should not expect everyone to stick around, because not everyone is as strong as others and as strong as I am. Okay. Because one, someone who is sick, it is never their fault. And nobody wishes sickness upon themselves. And autoimmune diseases can happen to anyone at any point in any time of their lives.
It's true.
You might be healthy today, tomorrow you wake up, you're very sick.
Yeah.
And it is not your fault. So understanding that, it releases a lot of hatred, and feeling that people owe me something, they don't. So I am grateful for those people who hold my hand. I am grateful for those people who walk with me through doctor's appointments, through the chemo, through everything. No, I am just grateful for them. But I do not hate those ones who decided to leave.
Okay. Wow, you've mentioned chemo. What kind of treatment are you taken through? Just take us through your treatment. Like,
I use a drug called rituximab, and I use it after every 3 months.
That is for what?
For multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
Yes. So what happens is MS, when it is progressing, you will have new lesions either on your brain or your spine. So when I go and have an MRI and my neurologist sees there are new lesions, that means it is progressing. We need to kind of like reduce the progression or actually stop the progression. So that rituximab is supposed to help with that. It is not it is not guaranteed actually, but why not try, right? So I do the rituximab after every 3 months. And so you do steroids and then the rituximab. Yeah, so the steroid is supposed to help your body accept the chemo drug itself. Yeah.
You only do it after every 3 months, and these other days you're not on any pills?
Steroids, I am.
Steroids.
Steroids, pain medication to help with nerves. Yes.
Oh, wow. And that is what you said, it's very expensive.
Yes, it is.
Does SHA cover?
No.
So unless you have
a private insurance, out of pocket.
You
pay out of pocket.
For your case, are you covered?
Right now, no.
Okay.
Right now, I'm paying everything out of pocket.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we pray things work out for you.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm also glad that you're hopeful.
Yeah.
And again, especially you being able to understand even those friends who didn't stay, it's maturity. Yeah, because many might not, and that probably can even sink you.
It's yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And thanks to your family, for just standing by you. Yeah, it's also not easy. But thank God. We thank God for them. How are your kids?
They're perfect.
Do they know mommy is unwell?
Yeah, they know mommy is always sick, but they're not mature enough to comprehend what is going on. Yes.
Yeah, I hear you. Wow. So, what would you tell someone, because you've walked that journey, you are at a point where you've advanced, you're not like someone who's just been diagnosed.
Yeah.
What can you tell that particular person?
What I will tell a person who's just been diagnosed with MS or probably any autoimmune disease, just be strong. I don't like that word strong, but let me just use it right now. Just be strong and be hopeful, because where there is life, there is hope. The fact that you wake up in the morning, it means that there is still life in you and there is still something to hold on to, right? So just stay strong. If you have people who are walking with you, hold on to them tightly as you can, because they will always not be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you have a supportive system?
Yes.
A family. There are people out there who probably are not understood even with their own family members.
Yeah.
I want you to say something to a caregiver or a potential caregiver. What would you tell them?
I will tell a caregiver that what you're doing is very important and you have no idea the kind of impact you leave on the people you take care of. So every caregiver out there, kudos. And thank you so much for holding on to people who other people have left behind. When you have a chronic illness, life moves on. You always feel like yours does not, because you're in a flight and fight situation all the time. Something has gone wrong today. You think it's going to be okay tomorrow. It is not. So you're always fighting to survive. You're always fighting to breathe. You're fighting to live. And you feel like you're left behind, because you can see other people are living their lives. They're going to work. Because if you have chronic illness, autoimmune disease, it is very difficult for you to hold a 9-to-5 job. Okay? Because of the constant pain that you're always in. So you feel like people are moving forward, but you're not. But everyone's timeline is different. Your own time and my own time are very different. And our destinies and our lives are not written in stone, right? So it might take me longer to get to where you are, but it doesn't mean that I will not get there. So everyone who is sick, every caregiver, just hold on.
Yeah.
If you're taking care of someone who is sick, just know that you are a very important and special person in that person's life. They might not say it much, but you are. And this society and everyone, we need people like you to just hold our hands and tell us that everything is going to be okay. Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. And you've mentioned, as we wind up, you've mentioned that it's not easy to hold an 8-to-5 job. But for you, you're a music producer.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Utawala.
You live in Utawala. So this is to our viewers. Mercy here is a gospel music producer. Guys, come give her a job. Help her sustain herself. You've heard her story. She edits, she produces. So she's not just sitting there asking for help, but she has something that she can do with her hands. Let's support her. If you are an artist, come get Mercy. She'll give give us her contact, because I also want to talk about something else that she does, and that is that she is a chef. And interesting enough, today morning, it is her who served us breakfast. She prepared a very delicious breakfast for us. And I would just love to showcase some of her work. And if you are in Utawala and environs, please reach out to Mercy and give her a job. I'm telling you, if you can ask people on our set today, they will tell you how they enjoyed her meal. I don't know if the camera can see this.
Mm-hmm.
Mercy, what is this?
Those are sausage rolls.
These are sausage rolls from Chef Mercy. You guys, from Chef Mercy. This is wonderful. And there is something else here. Let's see. And this is just a sample. We had a lot in the morning. The sauce, the mandazis, the sausages, they were wonderful. Mercy is good at her work. We can testify because we tested her food. So Mercy will give us her contact so that guys can reach out and make orders.
So you can find me at TikTok. I am Adoyo Jikoni. My phone number, which is my WhatsApp number, it's 0748 466 703. 0748 466 703.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's support Mercy. Let's support Mercy so that she can also get her medication and take care of herself and her 2 sons. And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much
for having me. Yeah, thank you for just opening up and sharing your story.
Thank you.
You are amazing, and we wish you well.
Thank you. Yes.
And the future is bright.
It is.
Yes, greater days are ahead of you. In Jesus'
I believe so. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Wow. That was wonderful. And the truth is, it takes courage to relive those moments, and we honor Mercy's strength. And now let's turn back to Dr. Dan to help us understand the medical side of what Mercy has just shared.
Mercy has endometriosis, and it has caused her lesions in her abdomen. The lesions are getting bigger, making it difficult to move and even feed. And right now, she needs to undergo an urgent surgery to remove the masses. We are therefore appealing to the general public to help raise funds to help cover the surgical expenses. You can reach her via M-Pesa number +254 748 466 703. That is +254 748 466 703. We welcome any kind of support. You can also send her an email via mercyadoyo22@gmail.com. We look forward to receiving your help.
Welcome back to Behind the Diagnosis. We continue with our discussion on multiple sclerosis, and now we're joined by Dr. Chengo, who will help us understand MS medically. Karibu sana, daktari.
Asante sana. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to have you finally on
Yeah,
bed.
again.
Yes.
Love your culture.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Karibu sana.
There's someone who probably doesn't know Dr. Chengo.
Yeah.
Who is Dr. Chengo?
I'm a specialist in neurorehabilitation. I am the founder and the CEO of the Ability Clinics. That's where we call office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What is multiple sclerosis?
Multiple sclerosis, often abbreviated as MS. It's a neurological condition. Again, it's an autoimmune. Without too much kizungu, autoimmune you're referring to own system that attacks itself. And this time around, autoimmune attacks what we call the neural cells, and particularly what we call the myelin sheaths. myelin sheath is a part of the nerve cell. You know, a nerve cell is designed in a manner that it transports sensory inputs from the neuromuscular junctions. You have very many of them, and every neuro or every myelin sheath joins with another one like this, and you have many, many, many junctions together. So this round fatty tissue is what we refer to when we refer to as myelin sheath. And therefore, sclerosis is a medical word that means technically in a layman's way, it's like scarring. And when you scar, we call it a lesion in medical terms. And therefore, many scars within a central nervous system. It could be either the brain or even the spinal cord. And therefore, the more many attacks happen, because sometimes they happen as episodes, it can just come and fly up in one day, and the rest of the time you realize you're under less attack. Every attack that comes, it leaves scarring, or it leaves you with a lesion. Now, let me discuss a little bit about how the brain looks like. So the brain is one system, and the brain is a representative of your whole body. In other words, you exist twice, and you are arranged inside your brain in a certain manner. You look like upside down, and you are arranged in form of a map. We call this one the homunculus of the human central nervous system, where your physical hand exists as a hand in your brain in form of a map. Your leg has a representation, and therefore the brain works on what we call ipsilaterity of functions, where your right controls your left side of the body, and therefore, and the vice versa is also the same. So if you get a lesion, or you happen to have an autoimmune reaction, and it attacks a part like a certain myelin sheath somewhere, that scarring becomes a lesion, and that lesion presents itself as a physical complaint somewhere in your body. So based on how attack happens, it varies in terms of severity. It also varies a lot in terms of how it presents itself. For example, that particular autoimmune is very for example, like the optic nerve. And therefore, many autoimmune or MS patients, they complain with a vision issue. Others, they did complain about numbness. Others would complain about feeling cold on the feet. Others will complain about a hand which is lacking power. Others is slurred speech. And therefore, if the complaint is received, and like for example in Mercy's case, this complaint has been there in black and white all through our childhood. My legs are feeling cold.
Yeah.
But we like this story nangangana, and staying strong, yeah? And therefore this prevents some of us from seeking timely medical attention, because it has been there all the time. And then we wait until when the situation is completely out of control. That's probably that time when we run to go and see the doctor. So how do we diagnose multiple sclerosis? Technically, MRI is the simplest tool. For Mercy's case, it was very straightforward, but people sometimes struggle along where you do a normal MRI and nothing shows up. And therefore, you may end up doing what we call a contrast MRI. A contrast MRI, a dye color is pushed in your blood. And therefore, we wait for a little bit for the blood to circulate. And therefore, we take you on an MRI when you have blood, or when you have color in your blood. So this helps you, if there is a scar somewhere within the neuro or the myelin sheath within the neural cells, it becomes very easy for you to see, or the MRI to capture some of those things. We call it a contrast MRI. However, on a normal day-to-day, a regular MRI should be able to give you a diagnosis of a multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it like for Mercy, she started experiencing the symptoms when she was expecting. Is it a common thing, or was Mercy's just a different case?
That's a little bit interesting case. Actually, quite often the note, autoimmune, particularly with MS, and it is within the corridors where I told, if you're pregnant, the symptoms are like to disappear. But you see, this is research, but research always has odd one out, once in a while. And we've had situations where if you get pregnant and you're a female and you get pregnant, the reaction, the autoimmune reaction completely disappears. And therefore you have a very comfortable pregnancy throughout. When you give birth, the reaction comes up again.
Really?
Yeah, it's been there. It is very, very common, and research has shown that. But you see, you cannot be getting pregnant from January to December, 365 days, so that you can prevent an attack.
Yeah.
But it is encouraging that you still remain viable, womanhood.
Yeah.
You can still get family even despite the presence of MS. Apparently, it's not peculiar to women. It's also both men and women. Research has shown it could exist in a family because there is no known particular cause where you can pinpoint and say, this is the cause of MS. But it is common in several families. It is also common with families with other autoimmune issues. Like I did hear Mercy talk about
her mother. Yes.
It has rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
And all these things, they are all one and the same. It's all about the central nervous system. So it's also common within families which have a certain cousin of other ailments that causes paralysis. Yeah.
I see. Wow. That's quite interesting. But for Mercy, her pregnancy was very, she really struggled.
Yeah.
For both her pregnancies.
Yeah.
You've said that if you diagnosed with multiple MS, they usually tell you that when you get pregnant, the symptoms disappear.
Yes.
But when you give birth, they come back.
You can attack again.
Yeah.
But that is not automatic. Sometimes you can have an attack even when you are still pregnant. It has happened in quite a number of my clients before, where you get pregnant and you realize you have had an attack. Yeah. So what we need to do is just, the gynecologists are aware of this. So the best way is to find how to protect the child, because sometimes there are some medications which can be a little bit lethal to the fetus. So what we do is we know how to go around about managing it slowly by slowly until the pregnancy is finally out. You only need to be around 7 months of pregnancy. The child is completely out of danger, and then you can always deliver prematurely and manage from there going forward, just like in Mercy's case.
Can it be passed over to a child?
These are our genes. Yes, as we have said, sometimes not really transmission per se, but it's something very common in families.
Okay.
So, of course, this child is not completely free from it.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you have a history in your family of having an autoimmune disease, or particularly already diagnosed as multiple sclerosis, then you stand a chance of having the same again passed to all aspects.
How is the treatment like?
There's no cure. There's no one cure that you can do, but management is very important, and particularly management that prevents the attack and the flare occasions. And sometimes steroids. Steroids are very good in keeping off them apart. Because what you just need to do is to prevent the further sclerosis of the already existing myelin shield. And if you can put away the episodes, you can comfortably live a very, very active life. But what happens is the challenge is the complication of sclerosis. For severe sclerosis, sometimes, as Mercy has just mentioned, sometimes you go in pain. or sometimes you struggle to see, or sometimes you are unable to remain very energetic. You get fatigued easily. Worst case scenario, when it hits you very hard, is it takes away your speech, and you are unable to articulate very well. Another case scenario is when it takes you to a wheelchair and you are unable to walk completely. When it affects part of the cervical part of the spine, then your hand functions are completely lost. And then you are unable to, do simple things of self-care. Example, you saw Mercy trace really well done makeup, and you are unable to do, those things. You're unable even to feed yourself. You're unable to take yourself and shower. Even to the toilet, you need support. That's when at least it can be a little bit, biting. However, on a normal regular day, you still work, you still run your errands. When you have a flare, you increase the uptake of medication, and then, you live with it. It's about living with it, ideally.
Yeah, so when it gets to that point where you are on a wheelchair, is there therapy? Does it help?
Yes, even when you are not on wheelchair.
Okay.
One of the things that you need to know is to feed neurons, because neurons feed like physical activity, and physical activity. Unlike the concept of money, where you use your muscles too much, you give your muscles too much activity, they build more. And therefore, if you can give that ability to build more such that when attack comes, you are well sorted out, then becomes a little bit of better way of preventing yourself. Or else exercises keep off sclerosis work or episodes. And it's very possible for you to remain very, very physically stable. It doesn't pin you down to a level where you end up in wheelchair.
Any special diet?
Well, yeah, that builds muscles, that increases functions of the nerves. Yes. This includes B12, of course. Yeah. Food rich in B12, it's very good for preventing central nervous system's attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do MS warriors have a good support from doctors, specialists?
Well, I think it's mostly on who you see and whether it's available for you. Sometimes clinicians can be quite busy, but at this point, some of these diseases, you need a very good social support systems. A social support system is not exclusive to the clinical team, but it also has a lot to do with your family, your social support systems. You need someone to tell, I feel there's some unwell today, and some people just show up. You need people who will not label you as lazy. You need an employer who will have a very flexible work for you. You need employees or colleagues who will show up to support you when you have an attack or when you don't feel like working that day. You also need to have the very good mental health status where days come different. And when days come good, unachapa kazi kabisa. When days come looking low, then you take a break, and knowing how to say no, how to say yes, when to say yes, when to encourage you, kungangana, yeah, and slowly by slowly. Otherwise, it's all about systems and support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell someone who's just been diagnosed, who's not at, for Mercy is at a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
social support,
yes.
Diagnosis straight and forth.
Yeah.
That fully takes so long to be diagnosed. As you have told, it's that autoimmune reaction. And therefore, there are so many other neuro diseases that mimic MS. And sometimes you need a neurologist. In Nairobi or in the country, we have very few neurologists, of course. And sometimes you have a long queue to wait until you are seen. I used to love Professor Kioi, may God rest his soul in peace, used to be like the pillar of all activities of neuro diagnosis in the city, but unfortunately we lost him with COVID. But yes, we are here, and many more are coming up. So we just need to train and have good systems Yeah, and good systems also, such that you can escalate issues straight away from the primary health level and causing awareness. Congratulations, by the way. You're doing an amazing job. Because when you tell people, and people are aware how these symptoms look like, and you sort of heard it from somewhere else, it becomes very easy for you to say, okay, I think I need a neurologist, just because you overheard it being mentioned somewhere, if, for example, in Behind Diagnosis as a show. So you're playing a very important role in healthcare.
Thank you.
And yeah, your contribution matters, and we are here to support you. Actually, that's the reason why we show.
Yeah. And thank you for always showing up anytime we reach out, even in your busy, because man, you are busy.
Yeah, sure.
But thank you.
But we'd always show up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's very noble.
Wow.
We believe in you.
Wow.
And there are many, many more Behind Diagnosis like this. Imagine how much we change Kenya.
A lot, so much.
Yeah.
So much shall be done. And we've just started. And I know that more will emulate and also do even on other conditions.
Yeah.
So that together we win.
Yeah.
Where can you support you? Awesome. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. It means a lot to us. Guys, they're here to support us. And we are happy. Where can you be found?
My office is on Mushai Drive. At Ability Therapy Place on Facebook, or at Ability Therapy Place on TikTok. My telephone number is 0780 999 708. I'll repeat again.
Yes, please.
0780 999 708. And my admin's, my PS number is 0780 999 709. But not 708 is me. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure they've gotten it right, and they will reach out so that they get support.
Yeah.
Because that's all they know.
So what we need.
Yes. And we thank God. Thank God for you.
Yeah.
So also today we've learned not just about multiple sclerosis as a disease, but about Mercy Adoyo, a lady of strength, resilience, and inspiration. Mercy, thank you for reminding us that even in the face of chronic illness, life and purpose continues.
Yeah.
And to our audience, remember, every story matters and every voice deserves to be heard. If you know someone whose story needs to be shared, please reach us out to 0701 300 799. And remember to subscribe on our channel and follow us on all our social media pages so that together we can raise awareness. And to just remind you, please let's support Mercy in her work. We will still put her number on our screen. And she's a chef and a music video producer and an editor. Reach out to her and give her business. Asanteni sana. Again, I say every story matters and every voice deserves to be heard.